that's a really good question. I think that my role as an educator started about 5 years ago when we first started doing this trip. The first one was in LA, and that had a much different feel to it. That the goal of that was, can we make a movie outside of Cincinnati? Can we travel and make a narrative? And it was great. We had a great time, but it was very bogged down with the narrative part of it. And when we left and we got back and we reflected on the trip, I was like, I really want to be able to be a tourist. I really want to take the time to go on this trip with the kids and not hoard their time making movies. I want them to really soak up everything about the culture. But I also wanted to keep film as a part of it.
But in Cali, it was more of like, all right, let's stop, not take pictures of like what you're seeing, but like instead record a movie that's not like your own thing, which was still cool. It was really awesome, like being able to look back on that and just see us in movies and like to create stuff and like to see what like we actually did, but in a different sense. And now being able to create our own thing, I think, is so much more like just freeing.
When I see something that like I've never seen before, which has happened a lot on this trip, I feel the need to film it. I'm like very active on social media and I have a YouTube channel, and like filming things and putting them in kind of like different point of views and like capturing moments is really something that like I'm interested in, and I've loved doing that on this trip.
That as a filmmaker, I didn't have an agenda in terms of what I wanted the doc to be, nor the music video, but because I was open to the experiences, I have both ideas ready to go, which I think is cool because I'm usually a huge planner. Like I usually don't ever go into a project going, I don't know, make it up. Sure, whatever happens, happens. That's not me. I am 100% planned before I even start. So it was really nice as a filmmaker to allow it to be.
So how I do it is I go just record what I want to, just take pictures of whatever I want to, like what I see throughout the day, what I experience. And then at the end of each day, I sit down and I just go through my phone and I'm like, this is what I started with. This was breakfast. This was lunch. We did this today. And I kind of just put my own little thoughts and emotions into each post, just to make it more real, more in the moment for everyone else to see, and kind of give people who like weren't able to go on this trip or may never be able to live through the moments through me.
All of the new cultural things we've seen in Japan are really cool, from like the food to like transportation to just like buying things, like the currency, and just like talking to people. It's very similar to the US, but there's a lot of like little things that are different, and you kind of have to like pick up on them and really like adapt. And I like traveling, especially with a group, because you get to experience all these different things with your friends.
This is the main reason that I wanted to make this movie, is that when I was a director, I could have such an impact on my students because I was working with them directly. And sorry to use that word, but it was true. And when I was a director, the work that I was doing with my students was sending them out, and I have some of the most successful students that I can think of, not only in terms of worldly success, but also in terms of them having a solid ground and understanding who they are and what kind of artist they are. And they don't have to be famous to be successful. And so when I gave up most of my directing and I became a producer, I felt like I had lost the ability to impact kids. And it made me really sad. And I was just very frustrated as a person that I didn't have the ability to impact kids the way that I used to. So on this journey, as a producer, watching these kids be their own artist and be their own director and start their own journey and producing with them. Did you get footage of Fuji? Cool. As a producer, this is my place. that my place is to bring these kids over here and allow them to start their journey as a filmmaker and to start their journey as a storyteller. And it doesn't necessarily need to be through film. It can be through anything. And that makes me excited again about being a teacher.
When we went to the memorial this morning, there was a lot of very disturbing sights and things that we had been talking about. It's all things that we need to be aware of and we need to know, and it was good to kind of learn more about it and see all of these places in real life. And when we were walking through the museum, there was a lot of very hard and heavy subjects that were talked about, but we needed to know about it because it's our nation's history.
And Instagram's one of the just top social media platforms, and so I felt like it would be a good way to express my feelings towards Japan and what I've been doing each day in Japan, and everyone seems to love it. I've been getting so much feedback from posting just silly things of petting the deer today, or what I had for lunch yesterday. They people will be like, that looks so good, I wish I could try that, or they'll be like, these are so awesome, please keep doing them. And it's just cool to be able to live this moment for other people who can't.
The last time I was in Japan was with my father. My father passed away 3 years ago, and it's been really hard without him. And I spent 4 days. I spent 4 days with my father in Kyoto, and when I was in Kyoto, all I could do was hear him, think of him, and it's the closest I've been to him since his passing. And I came here to reconnect with him on a very personal and spiritual level, and also to connect with myself on a spiritual level. I've been feeling very out of touch since my father died. I've been feeling very vulnerable and yet not having any sort of grounding, and I really felt like I needed to come back to my Buddhist roots and to study and to breathe and to take time for myself, which I never do. I never, ever do that. And so as a tourist, it's been a very personal journey.
I think that this experience is one in a million, especially with my background. I've always just been a dancer and have never really gone out of my comfort zone. And with this opportunity and with everything that film camp, filming in general has given me, it's just kind of been an eye-opening, a small side hobby that I've been able to pick up and really enjoyed and really wanted to pursue. And especially with traveling too, even before high school or middle school or anything like that, I've always wanted to travel. And so any opportunity I've been able to, and to be able to do it with awesome kids and awesome people, and just in a group and all be able to share this same experience, same country, doing the same thing and not feeling like you're alone or doing it on your own. I think it's just been awesome to kind of step out of your comfort zone and do things that are different and see things that are different.
I'm going into my junior year, and I really need to figure out what I want to do for college. And being here really makes me realize how much I love film and how much I want to do it in the future. And I want to really use these videos to work on my film techniques so that I can really work myself up for college.
We won't see what this trip means to these kids for another 5 to 10 years. But I guarantee that these kids will grow into amazing young adults and amazing artists because they've had this journey, because they've had this experience. And I am confident that it couldn't have happened with me as director, but that it happened because I stepped back and allowed them to direct and me to produce.